Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of TLFC. Today, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 24-25 EFL Championship home kits. So, I was going to do Premier League away kits this week, but not all of them are released yet, so I figured now would be a good time to do the EFL Championship kits. So, we're going to go ahead and rank all of them that have been released. We're going to start at the very top. The highest tier is Go Buy It. The next tier down is going to be This Thing Is Nice. Next tier from there is going to be It Works. Then we're looking at Meh. And our bottom tier is going to be Burn It. Burn this thing, it's a horrible kit, throw it in the fire. So, if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. There will be more videos like this in the future, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the 24-25 EFL Championship home kits. Let's get it. Okay guys, so we're just going to do this alphabetically, so we're going to start with Blackburn, and then we're going to end with West Brom, and we're going to rate all these teams. So without any further ado, let's hop into Blackburn Rovers. Alright, so here's a look at Blackburn's home kit for this year, and this is actually a 30th anniversary kit of their 94-95 season when they actually won the Premier League, and I really like this one, guys. So I think this shirt is very sharp. We're starting off with a bang here with our first kit. I love the way it looks. They did a great job capturing what the 94-95 shirt has. You know, it looks very similar to that, but they put some nice modern touches and some nice flair into the shirt. I really like the stitching on the blue side of the shirt. So if you look closely at the blue side of the shirt, you'll see that there's actually some roses stitched in, obviously taken from their badge. And I really like that touch. I think it looks very sharp. I can't imagine Blackburn fans not liking this jersey. If I was a Blackburn fan, just from the history alone and the way that the blue side of the shirt looks, I'd buy this shirt. So that's exactly where I'm going to stick this shirt. This is our first Go Buy It.
That's a bargain. I'll take one.
Okay, so that's going to go ahead and bring us to Bristol City, and here's a look at Bristol City's home kit for this season. So this kit is inspired by the Clifton Suspension Bridge, which is in Bristol. I'm not very familiar with the bridge, and to be honest, after looking at the shirt quite a lot, I'm not really sure how the bridge ties into the shirt. You know, here's a picture of the bridge, here's a picture of the shirt. Not really sure, you know, where they're saying that completely ties in. It must have something to do with the diamonding pattern on the sleeves and the collar. And honestly, the diamond pattern on the sleeves and the collar is what I really like about this shirt. It gives it a really old retro look. You know, it looks knitted. It is like a knitted style collar and sleeves, so I really like that. It looks super retro, and for me, that's kind of the saving grace on this entire shirt. There is like a checkerboard pattern going on within the red on the shirt. It's pretty subtle. Can't say it really does anything for me, but at least they tried to, you know, spice the shirt up a little bit. I'm not sure Bristol fans really like this one, but I don't really hate this one. I don't love it, so I think it works. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the It Works category.
Not bad, not bad.
All right, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Burnley, and here's a look at Burnley's home kit for this season. And personally, I think this is a big step up from their home kit from last year. I thought their home kit from last year was a pretty run-of-the-mill claret and blue shirt. And one thing I really like about this shirt compared to last year's shirt is it has some stitching, some really subtle stitching into the shirt that is there to basically represent Turf Moor's old longside stand. So it's a stand that was in Turf Moor for a very long time. It has since been replaced, but most of Burnley's great history was watched from that stand. So I really like that they tied a little homage. You can kind of see that it says longside in the printing of the shirt. I really like that. So the thing that really kills it for me is the big gambling sponsor. So I'm not a fan of gambling sponsors. You guys probably know that if you watch my previous videos. Granted, they don't kill shirts for me. It's not like something that will destroy a rating, but this one's huge and it doesn't really flow with the colors. I wish they would have made it all white or, you know, all blue, you know, something that really ties into the shirt. It would just flow a lot better. So for me, I don't hate this shirt. I don't love this shirt. I like the history in it. So for me, I'm gonna go and stick this one in the It Works category.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Okay guys, so we're on to Cardiff City, and here's a look at Cardiff City's home kit for this season. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of this kit. So it's not something that I really hate, but it's just really boring. You know, it's just a plain blue shirt with a nice little chevron pattern across the middle. I would say the saving grace of this shirt is the badge. So it's the badge that they used from 1969 to 1980. I really like that they have that historical touch of changing the badge. And one other thing I would say that I like is it has the 125 in the bottom corner of the shirt, which represents the club's 125th year in existence. So those are some pretty cool touches, you know, some cool historical touches. But other than that, it just feels very boring. And I just feel like they didn't try that hard on this one. I'm not a huge fan of the sleeves, not a huge fan of the collar. the overall design just feels a little uninspired, so I wouldn't burn it. If it didn't have some of those nice historical touches, I probably would. But for me, this is a meh shirt, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the meh category.
It's not for me.
Okay, so that brings us to Coventry, and here's a look at Coventry's home kit for this season. And this is a shirt that I wasn't sure I liked at first until I got a little closer look at this shirt. I definitely like it. I think it's really sharp. So in the stitching of this shirt, they have what is known as the Kaffa tree. So I had to do some research. I had no idea what this was. Apparently the Kaffa tree was a tree during Anglo-Saxon times that basically represented the border lines, or the boundaries of Coventry. And Kaffa was the man who owned the tree. So Kaffa tree became Coventry. So I thought that was really cool to learn the etymology of the name of the city. Very, very interesting to me, and honestly, it made the shirt go a lot higher in my books. I really like the way the stitching looks. This isn't a shirt that I would absolutely run out and go buy because it is a little on the plain side, but the stitching really brings it up to a nicer notch that I think brings it above a it works kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this thing is nice, and that's where I'm gonna stick it, in the this thing is nice category.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really nice.
All right, so that's gonna bring us to Derby County's kit. Here's a look at Derby County's home kit for this season, and this is a pretty plain kit, but I don't necessarily hate it. I like what they did with the sleeves and the collar on this. They have the ram's horns tied into both the sleeves and the collar, obviously borrowed from, the ram on their crest, which I thought was pretty cool. But other than that, it's a pretty plain kit, but sometimes plain kits with some nice little touches like that, make it clean enough to where it's acceptable. So I don't love this kit. I don't hate this kit. I think it falls right in the middle where it belongs in the it works category. So that's where it's going.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Okay guys, so that brings us to Hull City, and here's a look at Hull City's home kit for this season, which is a Kappa kit, and I am not gonna lie, I am not a big fan of this kit. So it has their traditional black and amber stripes, so I like that you can tell it's Hull right off the rip. It is pretty traditional in terms of having their colors and the vertical stripes, but other than that, I think this kit is extremely boring. Nothing about this really excites me. It's just plain black and amber stripes. I'd say the one saving grace on the kit is it has the 120th anniversary emblem on the neck, but other than that, I think this is a pretty meh kit, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the meh category.
I've seen better.
All right guys, that's gonna bring us to Leeds United, my team, and here's a look at Leeds United home kit for this season. And I'm not going to lie, I am not a huge fan of this kit. So as you guys will know, if you've watched some of my previous videos, I don't like this template from Adidas. This plain template with the little weird inslits on the side, the little, I don't even know what you want to call them. I'm just not a fan of the way these Adidas template kits look, and this one is no exception. I think it's extremely boring. I really don't like the Red Bull logo. So it's not necessarily that it's Red Bull, it's just the colors of it. I just don't see Leeds wearing a kit with red on it. I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish they would have made it all yellow or all blue, similar to what they did with the away kit. I love the away kit, but we'll save that for another video. So yeah, I really am not a fan of this year's Leeds kit. I'm not gonna burn this. You just can't burn kits out of your own team. That's just, against the letter of the law as far as I'm concerned as a fan or a supporter. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one in the meh category because that's honestly how I feel about pretty much all these Adidas kits that are plain like this. It's pretty meh.
You let me down, son.
Okay guys, so that's gonna bring us to Luton Town, and unfortunately Luton Town has not released a home kit yet as of posting this video. So they have a game tomorrow. It's Friday now as of posting. Tomorrow on Saturday they have a game. I'm assuming they're gonna wear their new home kit, but as of right now, they have not released it. So Luton Town is the only team that has not released their home kit so far this season, so no grade for Luton.
I'm sorry I failed you.
Okay guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Middlesbrough, and here's a look at Middlesbrough's kit for this year's season. And not gonna lie, this kit does absolutely nothing for me. It's incredibly boring. Nothing about this pops. Maybe someone from Middlesbrough can correct me. Maybe there's some really good history involved with this kit, but it's extremely bland to me. Honestly, it really looks like a training top to me, and I really do not like the giant gambling sponsor on it. This is probably my least favorite kit released this year. I have to stick this one in the burn it category. It's terrible. It's boring. Like I said, it looks like a training top, so burn it. Throw it in the fire. Sorry, Middlesbrough.
You can use fire.
All right, guys, that's going to go ahead and bring us to Millwall, and here's a look at Millwall's home kit for this season. And this is one I like. You know, it's not something incredible. I don't think it's the coolest kit I've ever seen in my life, but I really like some of the history with this kit. So they blended elements from some of their previous kits, so from the 91-92 season and the 92-93 season, and they pulled them into somewhat more of a modern design. And I really like that they did that. I think it looks pretty sharp in that regard. The collar looks pretty cool. I do like the cross hatching, you know, maybe the net pattern, if you want to say, on the blue part of the shirt. I think it looks pretty sharp, but to me, nothing about it is really like extravagant. I just think it's a solid home kit. I really do. I like the sleeves. I like the collar. I like that they tried to, you know, mix in some other elements. So for me, it's not like the most incredible kit I've ever seen, but I don't necessarily hate it. So I think it's an It Works kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the It Works category.
It's nothing fancy, but it does the job.
All right, guys, that's going to go ahead and bring us to Norwich City, and here's a look at Norwich's home kit for this season. And this is another one that doesn't necessarily jump off the shelves to me. You know, it has the traditional Norwich yellow with the green piping down the side, so I like that I can tell that it's Norwich right when they step on the field, but I liked what Norwich was doing with some of their previous kits. I really liked the green stripes. You know, they did vertical stripes, they've done horizontal stripes, and I thought that popped a little bit more. And I also like the Lotus sponsor a lot more than the Blakely sponsor, so that kills it a little bit for me. But this shirt does have, you know, one nice little redeeming feature where if you look a little closer at the shirt, it has this wavy checkerboard pattern on it, which I like, but like I said, it doesn't really jump off the shelf. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think this is an It Works kit, so I'm gonna stick it in the It Works category.
It's not too shabby.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and bring us to Oxford United, and here's a look at Oxford United's home kit. So this is one I've been waiting for a while. So I'm filming this on a Wednesday, and this kit was actually released today. So I've been waiting for this kit so I could make this video. Unfortunately, I don't have Luton's yet, but I got this one, so I figured it was time to go. And this is the first photo I saw of this kit. I saw it on their Instagram account. So I went to Oxford United's Instagram account, hoping I'd find their kit drop, and this is the first photo I saw, and this photo absolutely killed the kit for me. I mean, it's a terrible photo. It honestly looks like a kit I'd go get at Ross Dress for Less. You know, they couldn't even take the time to get some of the wrinkles out of the shirt before they posted it. So I'm not a huge fan of this kit. I wish it had a lot more blue in it. You know, Oxford has that really nice dark blue color that they usually work into their kits, and it seems to be lacking here for me in this kit. And also, I don't really like the chevron checkerboard pattern they have going on there. It just seems a little phoned in. It seems like they threw it together last minute, which I'm kind of assuming they did because they're one of the last teams to come out with a kit this year. The first impressions absolutely killed this kit for me. I gotta say, guys, I'm throwing it in the fire. Burn this kit, destroy it.
But you only seem to want to destroy it.
All right, guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Plymouth Argyle, or Argyle, I never know how to pronounce it. And here's a look at Plymouth's home kit for this season. All right, guys, so for me, this Plymouth kit just doesn't really capture what I think they were trying to do. So if you take a look at some of the kits from the 1980s with Plymouth, I think this is what they were trying to accomplish with the kit, you know, with that diamond pattern and, you know, some of that glossy look, but they really didn't capture it. And to me, it's not the right shade of green. Obviously, you know, it's the same shade of green as what they were doing in the 80s, but I think that Plymouth is known for a much darker shade of green. So to me, it doesn't really look quite like a Plymouth shirt right off the rip. But, you know, I don't necessarily hate it. It's not the greatest shirt I've ever seen. I don't hate it. I actually really don't like it that much. I kind of like that they went back to the white instead of having the gold, you know, traditional green and white for Plymouth, but it's pretty boring, you know. I don't think they really captured what they were trying to do with that old 80s look. So for me, I think it's a meh shirt, so I'm gonna stick it in meh.
Well, you tried your best.
All right, guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Portsmouth, and here's a look at Portsmouth's home kit for this season. And to me, this is an extremely boring shirt. I don't know what Nike was doing with this one, but to me, I feel like they completely phoned it in. This has like training top vibes to me. I really don't like it. The stripes are boring. The collar's terrible. I really don't like those little blue slits on the collar. I don't like the additional sponsor on the top of the neck, on the back of the shirt. To me, it just doesn't do it. I really do not like this kit. Sorry, Portsmouth fans, I gotta burn this thing. Throw it in the fire.
With liquid hot magma.
Okay, so now we're on to Preston North End, and here's a look at Preston's home kit for this season. And this is a pretty sharp looking kit. It's not something that I absolutely love, but it's certainly not something that I hate. You know, I like what they did with the sleeves. I like the dark blue sleeves with the white stripes in it, but the collar is a little lacking. I wish the collar had the same thing. And I do like the off gray or really light blue sash that they have going across the shirt. I think this is what kind of saves it for me from being a meh shirt. I think if it was just plain white with the sleeves how they are, it wouldn't be good enough for me, and I'd probably stick it in the meh category, but I do like that sash. I think it gives it kind of a classic, clean look, and it's very subtle. I like how subtle it is, so for me, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one in the it works category.
I can live with it if you can.
Okay guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to QPR, or Queen Park's Rangers. And
Central Park Ranger.
And here's a look at QPR's home kit for this season. And I'm not gonna lie guys, this is not a kit that really does it for me. So it's pretty plain. I don't really like the styling of it. I like that they have 3 different shades of blue in their cross horizontal bars there. I think that looks pretty sharp, but compared to last season, I think this is a major step down. Last season they had that really sharp red badge. They had some red trimming along their blue stripes. I just think for me, it looked a lot sharper. This just seems really boring. It looks like a lot of kits they've done in the past, and to me, they really didn't try that hard this season. So it's not something that I really hate. It's not something I think needs to be burnt, because they put a little bit of flair into the stripes and whatnot, but for me, this is a pretty meh kit, so that's exactly where I'm gonna stick it. I'm gonna stick it in meh.
You'll do better.
All right, guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Sheffield United, and here's a look at Sheffield United's home kit for this season. And this is actually an homage kit, so it's an homage to their 1990 through 1992 kit, and I think they did a pretty good job capturing what they're trying to do here. So I think they almost nailed a go-buy-it kit here. I really, really like how they captured that old look with the black pinstripes going between the red and white stripes. You know, that Sheffield is known for. They always have the red and white stripes. And I really like inside the red stripes, they have some really cool subtle rose stitching. I'm pretty sure it's a rose. It looks like roses to me. And I have to say, I really, really like that aspect of the shirt. I think the shirt actually captures the throwback look that they were trying to do. If it had the same collar, I think this would be a go buy it. So for me, just because the collar's a little bit off looking, and you know, I don't know if they necessarily needed those little yellow touches on the sleeve and the bottom of the shirt. I think without those things and plus the collar, this would have been a banger. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one in This Thing Is Nice, because I do think it is a nice kit, but a couple things could have put it over the top.
I really like it because of the flying and the magic.
All right, guys, that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Sheffield Wednesday, and here's a look at Sheffield Wednesday's kit, home kit rather, for this year. And this is one that also really does not do it for me. You know, it has their traditional blue and white stripes, which Sheffield is somewhat known for, but to me, it just doesn't really look like a Sheffield Wednesday kit. You know, it's not the right shade of blue in my opinion. Traditionally, they have a lot darker shade of blue, and I don't really like this light shade of blue, and I'm not a fan of the squigglies or the zigzags down the blue stripes. You know, some people might really like that touch, but I think based on what I was able to find, it doesn't really tie into any history involved with Sheffield Wednesday. So for me, it just looks like a design touch for the sake of having a design touch. So I'm not a huge fan of this kit. It's not something I would burn, but I definitely don't like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the meh category.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Okay, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Stoke City, and here's a look at Stoke City's home kit from this season, and this is a kit that I have to say I really, really, really like. So I'm gonna be a little nitpicky on this one, guys. Don't be mad at me, Stoke City fans. I really like the kit, but there's just 1 or 2 small adjustments that would have sent it over the top for me. So first, let's go ahead and start with what I love. One thing I really love about this kit is the kilns stitched into the red stripes. So the city of Stoke is known for its pottery industry, and they do a good job capturing that in this shirt. So they have the kilns all the way up and down the red stripes. They have a kiln on the back, on the neck of the shirt. I think these are really, really cool, sharp touches. I like the way they laid it into the shirt. It kind of has a glossy look, which I think looks really, really nice. Not gonna lie, guys, I actually really like this shirt. If they would have put the badges not centrally, I would probably run this as a go buy it. The badges are what really draw the kit back to me. I don't like the central badges. If they would have just left them where they normally were, I probably would run out and say this is a go buy it, but because I don't like the badges, I'm not a huge fan of gambling sponsors. I guess I'm being a little nitpicky, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one in the This Thing Is Nice category.
Is it awesome?
It's pretty awesome.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and bring us to Sunderland, and here's a look at Sunderland's home kit from this season, and I would have to say that this is a kit I absolutely love. So this kit pays homage to Sunderland's 1988 to 1991 kit, and I think they actually nailed it. So that kit in 1988 had chevrons all the way down the sleeves, obviously their traditional red and white, and I think they actually nailed the look of this kit. It looks like a retro kit. It looks like the 1988 kit, and then it has some really, really awesome touches that are unique to Sunderland. So if you look in the collar of the shirt, in the little stitching in the seam there, it says "From the Banks of the River Wear," which I think is really, really cool. It's paying homage to the shipbuilding that Sunderland is known for. And if you look in the red stripes of this shirt, they have this really cool pattern that almost looks like a river flow, or, you know, even the banks of the edge of the river. So I think that's a really, really nice touch. I mean, even if you look inside the shirt, it has some really cool, like, industry looking patterns. I think the shirt is incredible. I honestly really, really like this one. This is definitely a go buy it, guys. So I'm sticking it in go buy it.
Absolutely perfect.
All right, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Swansea, and here's a look at Swansea's home kit for this season. So at first glance, I really did not like this kit. I just thought it was really, really plain, but the more I started to look at this kit, the more I really liked it. So I like that it has, you know, Swansea's traditional white and black. I think that looks sharp, but I really like the orange touches on the sleeves. It kind of gives it that full swan look to me. I really like, you know, the swan has an orange beak, black face, white body. I just think it looks really, really sharp, and I think they did a good job of capturing that. And one thing that really, really put this shirt over the top for me is the ripple pattern stitched into the white on the shirt. To me, that is absolutely awesome. You know, it kind of looks like a swan swam away and left those little ripples behind it. And to me, I think that's absolutely gorgeous. This shirt really, really grew on me the more I looked at it. Honestly, to me, when I first looked at it, I saw the white and black. I was like, yeah, this shirt works. Then I noticed the orange and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It makes it look a little nicer. You know, maybe this thing is nice. And then when I really saw those ripple patterns, I was like, wow, this is like a swan shirt.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
I thought it was cool. If I was a Swansea fan, I'd honestly run out and buy this thing in a heartbeat. So that's where I'm gonna stick it. I'm sticking it in the go buy it category.
It's a masterpiece.
All right, guys, so that's gonna go ahead and bring us to Watford, and here's a look at Watford's home kit for this season. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, there's nothing really about this kit that really knocks my socks off. So I don't necessarily hate it, but I really definitely don't love it. It's just very plain. I'm not a huge fan of the giant sponsor on the shirt, and there's nothing that really jumps out or screams anything unique in this shirt. So it does have some really interesting, like, chevron patterning in the stitching, which, you know, makes it a little bit above completely boring. So it makes me not hate the shirt as much, but I just don't think there's anything super special about it. The red and black pinstripes look pretty good, but they're not enough to really make this a great shirt. So for me, this really is not an it works kit. I think it's pretty meh. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the meh category.
Get a load of this guy.
All right, guys, that's gonna go ahead and bring us to our last kit. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. It's gonna be West Bromwich Albion, and here's a look at West Brom's kit for this season. And this is a kit that I don't necessarily love, don't necessarily hate, but I do think it does a decent job of capturing, you know, the West Brom identity with the blue and white stripes, which I do like. I do like the collar on this shirt. I think the collar looks pretty sharp. And another thing I like is that they have some, I guess, diamond patterning or triangular patterns in the stripes and some varying shades of blue. But that's also kind of like maybe a little problem with the shirt, because it might not be as dark as the traditional West Brom blue. It does look a little bit lighter to me, but that's a little bit nitpicky. So, you know, it doesn't really kill the kit for me. But that being said, I just don't think this is like an amazing kit. I think it does the job. So I think it's sharp looking. I don't love it. I don't hate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the this works category.
That was a bit harsh.
All right, guys, so now it's that time of the video where I go ahead and pick my favorite kit of the season, and I have to pick the Sunderland kit. I really like that retro style that they did and just worked in some really cool modern elements into the shirt. I love the collar on the shirt. I love the inside of the shirt. I think it's a really, really sharp kit. I can't imagine Sunderland fans don't like this kit. I think they're gonna sell a ton of them. And honestly, if I was a Sunderland fan, I would 100% buy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is my favorite kit of the season. So congratulations, Sunderland. You have won the prestigious TLFC Favorite Kit of the Year award. Ah!
I'm the greatest man in the world. Woo!
All right, guys, so that's gonna go ahead and do it for another video. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Those of you who made it to the end of this thing, please let me know what you think in the comments. You know, was I too harsh on some of these? Was I too light on some of them? I think I was a little bit harsh this go around, but that's the way she goes. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. Please consider subscribing. We have a lot more content coming out like this in the future. We're gonna do Premier League away kits, Championship away kits, and a lot of you guys are asking for third kits, so I'm probably gonna do third kits too. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Have a super fantastic weekend. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.